Balake, where is Balake at?
My name's Blake.
Do you want to go to war, Balake? I'm for real. Aaron.
Aaron is right here, everyone. Welcome back for more SPTV, where every day is a great day not to be in a cult. Someone done messed up, and it's becoming clearer just exactly who that is. This is a follow-up video to the live stream that I did last night. I have linked to that live stream in the description down below. The name of that live stream was Lawyer Accused of Sabotaging Scientology Lawsuits for 2 years. The name of that lawyer who is being accused of that is named Brian Kent. Brian Kent was one of the named partners in a Philadelphia-based law firm called, and I pretty much guarantee I'm pronouncing this wrong every time I say it, but I say Laffey, Bucci, and Kent. Now, it might be Laffey, Bucci, and Kent, but anyway, it's LBK, very prominent law firm based out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He was one of the named partners in that firm. He was also on the board of directors of a nonprofit organization also based out of Philly called Child USA. It is through Brian Kent's involvement with Child USA and through his work with Marcy Hamilton, the founder and CEO of Child USA, that Brian and Marcy were introduced into the world of Scientology, specifically the world of former Scientologists, through Mike Rinder and Leah Remini on, was it season 2 or season? I think it was season 2 of the Leah Remini Scientology in the Aftermath show. Brian Kent and Marcy Hamilton were brought onto the program. I think it was for the episode that was about Jehovah's Witnesses, and the episode was discussing abuse of children within that organization. Child USA is an organization dedicated to advocating for specific aspects of child SA. And so that's why the Child USA organization becomes a part of this conversation, is because that organization was central to how Mike Rinder and Leah Remini met Brian Kent and Marcy Hamilton. It's also how Brian Kent came to represent so many former Scientologists in litigation against Scientology. And then the saga continues on from there. Now, in my video yesterday, let me see, there's a whole bunch of things I wanted to screen share. I want to make sure I get this in the right order. First of all, this is the website for Child USA, and I'm going to show you a short segment of the video I did last night just to properly frame this conversation. And in the video that I'm about to share with you, at one point I refer to Rabbit, and that is Rabbit of Down the Rabbit Hole News. About a week or two ago, Rabbit did a video making public for the first time an extremely serious report that was filed against Brian Kent with the state bar of Pennsylvania, by another attorney who is presently representing former Scientologists in litigation against Scientology. It was in that bar complaint that Brian Kent is accused of essentially sabotaging Scientology lawsuits for a 2-year period, completely wasting and burning 2 years of litigation time, and is accused of having had no actual real intention of prosecuting any of these lawsuits, but was just engaging in them for his own personal and emotional pleasure, the details of which were covered in last night's video. I'm going to play for you, though, one short segment of that video so you understand what I mean when I say Child USA has, in fact, issued a public statement about Brian Kent, and their statement brings up some very uncomfortable truths about who was protecting who and for how long. So let me share this with you. Here we go. Child USA clearly took no action against Brian Kent until Rabbit did a video about him. The question is going to be why. Is it because Marcy Hamilton didn't know, which means Mike Rinder didn't tell her? The question is going to be, Marcy, did you know and you didn't do anything? Or did Mike know and he didn't tell you? No matter what the answer is to that question, it seems like Brian Kent is probably not going to be the last person to be dismissed from the Child USA organization. Okay. Okay, so that is the context within which we are doing this video today. And now I can't remember in the screen sharing that I did if I actually introduced you to Marcy Hamilton or not. I think I probably didn't. So let me just do this real quick and you'll see why we're talking about Marcy Hamilton, Brian Kent, and Mike Rinder. So this is the Child USA website. Let's go our team. Okay. So Professor Marcy Hamilton is the founder and CEO of Child USA. She is not on the board of directors. She's not the chairman of the board of directors. She's not even on the board of directors, but she did found the organization and she does run the organization. I believe we have to assume that she has all the pull she could ever need with the board of directors. I don't think you create an organization, run the organization, and turn it over to a board that you have absolutely no control over. Now, the organization does have a bunch of staff that actually take care of day-to-day operations, but let's take a look at who is on the board of directors. For the most part, I really don't know who these guys are. Well, I only know who one of them is, actually. Okay, so James Marsh is the chairman. Richard Tollner is the treasurer. We have Brittany Henderson, a pretty well-known attorney. Benjamin Andriazzi, an attorney. Justin Conway. Jeffrey Fritz, an attorney. Tom Crummins. Mary Liu, an attorney. Hillary Nappy, an attorney. Jennifer Niven. Jeff Pickering. Mike Rinder. Kathleen Rognes, an attorney. Susanna Southworth, an attorney. Elise Stolp, an attorney. Okay, and then some other board members. All right. So, for the purposes of this video, I should assume that most people watching this video did not see the entire 1 hour and 10-minute video last night. Brian Kent was representing an awful lot of former Scientologists in litigation against Scientology. It turns out that very early on in his representation of former Scientologists, he started a highly unethical sexual relationship with one of the former Scientologists who he was representing. The former Scientologist was married. Brian Kent himself was married, which really primarily isn't the issue, other than the fact that there's professional ethical guidelines when you're an attorney, the attorney-client relationship. But you also have the added issue of Brian being on the board of directors of an organization that exists solely for the purpose of advocating for people who have been victims of child SA. And the fact that Brian Kent's client in this case, the one that he had the unethical sexual relationship with, the one he was representing, she herself was being represented by him in a case where part of the complaints had to do with her having been the victim of child SA. So you have just ethical violation stacked on top of ethical violation. This is something that would be a concern to his firm and also a concern to Child USA. Now, when Rabbit did her video a week or two ago, I feel like it was more than a week, less than 2 weeks ago, she was making this complaint public for the first time. Within days, Brian Kent had been removed from the board of Child USA and had been fired from the firm, which he was a named partner in. So clearly, these allegations are being taken extremely seriously. When you see the video detailing the entire complaint, it's impossible not to take them seriously. It's impossible to just call them allegations, especially since the complaint was being filed by another attorney, and not just in a civil lawsuit complaint where you can talk a lot of smack and maybe use some hyperbole. It was in a complaint that was being filed with the bar, asking them to investigate Brian Kent. Rabbit did her video about this. I did an extensive video about it last night detailing the entire complaint. In that video, I asked the question, how was action only taken by Child USA after Rabbit did a video about it on her YouTube channel? How did Child USA not act sooner when this complaint was made with the bar against Brian Kent over 2 years ago? Was it November 2022? Okay, so maybe a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago. People can fact check me on that. I'm not intending to misstate that. And so the question I posed is, did Marcy Hamilton and Child USA know about Brian Kent and the accusations and the investigation into him, and they chose not to do anything because they didn't think anybody would find out? Or did Mike Rinder fail to inform them? Now you go, why are you picking on Mike Rinder? Well, because the plaintiff in this complaint against Brian Kent is a former Scientologist, a former Sea Org member who's currently litigating against Scientology. It is someone who is a close friend of Mike Rinder, and it is someone who did confide in Mike Rinder about what Brian Kent did. So we can all assume that Mike Rinder believes this complaint. It's not someone he finds uncredible. Mike Rinder believes the plaintiff. He believes the complaint. And I know, personal firsthand knowledge, that Mike Rinder knew about this for probably somewhere on the order of a year. It's why I didn't think anything was going to happen after Rabbit did her video. I said, well, Mike Rinder already knows. Marcy Hamilton already knows. Child USA already knows. What could possibly happen? Once Rabbit does her video and then action gets immediately taken, the question is, why now? Did Child USA really not know? Did Marcy Hamilton really not know? And if that's true, what do they make of the fact that Mike Rinder knew and didn't inform them that they had this predator on their board? How is this going to shake out? Because it seems like no matter what the answer to the question is, one of these two people are going to have to be dismissed from Child USA. That was the pending question in my mind as of last night. It turns out Child USA has issued a statement about this, and that is what I want to share with you now. A statement from the Child USA Board of Directors, April 20th. So it turns out this statement has actually been on their website for 4 days. And it's on the part of the website for Board of Directors. It's not like on the front page. It's not like that's, anyway, it's in an interesting place. Okay. The Board of Directors of Child USA recently learned of a confidential complaint filed with the Disciplinary Board of the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania regarding allegations of misconduct made against attorney Brian Kent. At the time, Mr. Kent was a member of Child USA's Board of Directors. As soon as this information came to the attention of Child USA's board, it immediately took action to address the allegations against Mr. Kent. On April 15th, 2024, Mr. Kent tendered his resignation to the board without further comment. Mr. Kent had not informed the board of the complaint filed against him prior to his resignation. It is the Child USA's board. It is the Child USA board's understanding that the complaint remains under confidential investigation by the disciplinary board of the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania. Child USA believes survivors of sexual abuse and remains focused on its mission of helping kids stay kids. Child USA has not and never will condone the behavior of abusers and has not and never will protect or harbor those abusers. Boy, do I have some thoughts about the ramifications of that statement. But before I do, I have to find out the date that Rabbit did her video so we can see how many days did it take for Brian Kent to resign from Child USA. So give me 1 second here. Okay, here it is. And here it is. Okay, Rabbit's video was on April 6th. This statement said he resigned on April 15th. Okay, 9 days. There are some things I take issue with in this statement. Specifically, the following. As soon as this information came to the attention of Child USA's board, it immediately took action to address the allegations against Mr. Kent. That is a patently false statement. It's actually not specific enough Stated that broadly, it is false. Stated more specifically, it may be true. Mike Rinder's on the board of directors of Child USA. Mike Rinder's known about this complaint for at least a year, to the best of my knowledge. So it is not true that as soon as the information came to the attention of Child USA's board, it immediately took action. The true statement is that when it came to the attention of Child USA's board, a member of the board chose to keep this information secret and private for motivations that have not yet been explained, therefore allowing a predator to continue to remain on the board of an organization that exists to advocate for victims of child SA. Now, perhaps the more accurate statement would be once the information came to the attention of the Child USA board's chairman, it took action. Or maybe the accurate statement would be once the information came to the attention of the CEO of Child USA, it took immediate action. But if the founder and the CEO and the chairman of the board considered information like this to be so important and so potentially damaging to the PR of Child USA that it took immediate action, then wouldn't they want to look into why one of the other board members did not feel the same and kept the information secret and confidential and chose to do nothing? It seems like there are motivations and intentions that are not in alignment amongst the board members. It seems there's at least one board member whose intentions and motivations are completely out of alignment with what is in fact best for Child USA. Do you see what I'm saying? Why is it that a YouTuber doing a video about information one of Child USA's board members has had for a very long time, it took a YouTuber publishing the information to get this predator removed from the board of Child USA, a YouTuber who does not have any fiduciary responsibility to Child USA. And yet the board member who kept the information secret and sat on it, I'm assuming kept it secret and sat on it based on this statement by Child USA. It's not my place. It was totally possible that Mike Rinder had shared the information with Marcy Hamilton and that Marcy said, well, let's let it play out and see what happens. That was a total possibility. I had no reason to believe that had occurred, but I was aware that it was a possibility. Well, we have a statement. I mean, this is an official statement. They are claiming that they took action as soon as they found out. Well, that's a very inconvenient truth because that means Mike Rinder didn't share the information. And if that's the case, well, I personally would like to know why, but it's not really my right to know why. Child USA has the right to know why. And I can tell you that the investigative journalists at a major media platform who are investigating who knew what and when did they know it and why did action only get taken after a YouTuber that has nothing to do with any of this published the information, why was that when something was done? Something is very fishy over on the board of Child USA. And it is pretty crazy that an organization like Child USA is being dragged into all of this. It is pretty crazy. It would have been the easiest thing in the world when Mike Rinder found out about this for him to just go to Marcy Hamilton and say, uh-oh, Marcy, we got a problem. We got a big problem. Why not share the information? So either Mike Rinder didn't share the information or Marcy Hamilton and Child USA is lying. I got to tell you, I don't think Marcy Hamilton and Child USA is lying. That was the only purpose of this video, was to share the statement from Child USA. Let's see. Look at some of the comments and then we'll wrap this up. Matt Elliott, MAA, SPTV Canada. Was Mike Rinder already on the Child USA board when they came on the show? No, he wasn't. Mike being invited onto the board occurred after all of the TV show stuff occurred. Leah Remini is not on the board. She actually is an ambassador, which who even knows what that means? Let me see. They actually have a bunch of ambassadors. Let me try to pull it up here. And yeah, if I was if I was one of these ambassadors, I might want answers to this question as well. Oh, interesting. Corey Feldman, Lindsay Gammett, Vinka Jackson, Marley McLean, Stephen Mills, Leah Remini. Okay, that's it. So I know I said in my video last night that Leah Remini doesn't really have a dog in this fight. She's not a part of the staff of Child USA. She's not on the board, but I forgot that she was an ambassador. So who knows? Maybe Leah does have a dog in this fight. I certainly know that Mike does. Let's see. Kitty, 1838. Will Kent be accountable for his crimes? I very much do believe that he'll be accountable for his crimes. I'd be shocked if he didn't end up in litigation, being sued by his own firm. Let's see. Yeah, that's fine, guys. I'm trying not to stir the shit too much here. Oh, no, Nora, what is that fish smell? I didn't know there was a new species of deep sea fish called Mike Rinder. It's a new bottom feeder. Oh, shots fired, Nora. Shots fired. Duchess Diana, Child USA would be culpable if they knew the facts from the beginning. That's how I see it as well. And Child USA is a reputable organization. And it did strain credulity to me that Marcy Hamilton would let the PR, the image, the reputation of her firm that she's created, or her nonprofit that she's created, she's the face of it. She's like, she is the driving force behind this thing. I found it very hard to believe that she would protect Brian Kent or Mike Rinder. I didn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. And I was glad to see this statement. So we'll see. The next shoe is waiting to drop for sure. And when that happens, you better believe I'll do a video about it. Arnie Van Halen, but why would Mike Rinder keep this a secret? Yeah, somebody should ask Mike Rinder that question. Maybe he should do a blog post about it. Maybe his attack dog, Stephanie Hutchinson, can go find the answer to that question. Go ahead, Stephanie. Put your online trolling skills to some use, and go ask Daddy Mike Rinder. Mike, when did you know about Brian Kent's abuse of Valeska? When did you know about Brian Kent's abuse of your friend? And when you found out, how come you didn't tell anyone at Child USA? Or did you tell someone at Child USA and they're just lying about it? Either way, Stephanie, you've got a very juicy blog post that you can write. And if you do a good job writing it, maybe some of us will even promote it for you. Let's see. Sarah Sunquist, everyone go to their Instagram post to comment, what about Mike Rinder? Yeah, I mean, don't send any hate Child USA's way. There's no evidence at this point whatsoever that Marcy Hamilton or Child USA or the other board members or the chairman of their board has done anything untoward. But, you know, for sure, ask the question, but let's do it respectfully. Ken's channel, you and Rabbit are on fire. We know who the rat, dog, flea, and liar is. Yes, I'm sure many have different opinions on who's the rat, who's the dog, who's the flea, who's the liar, and that's okay. You know what they say about opinions. I won't finish the quote. All right, guys, so much more to come this afternoon. Stay tuned. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with me. Thank you, as always, to everyone who watches until the very end, and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click right inside here.